So why is the world like this? Why is it turning? Back then life was far simpler, and now we're slowly sinking. So why is it like that? You ask. People would tend to say that it's tough economic times right now, and they're just looking for ways to to make money. So like, for example, when someone engages in bribery to win a contract, they'll justify, hey, I need the money. But sometimes, if you think about it, do you really need that much money? I mean, we're all living in a first world nation, and we're all earning okay. And we tend to forget that, we really are making enough. Whereas, most of the people out there in the impoverished nations really don't have much. I was surprised to find out that some people were living on $1 a day. Can you imagine that? And here's another statistic. 20% of the richest nations in the world use up 80% of the world's resources, which leaves only 80% of the people to survive with 20%. So we really have much. We really have a lot. But people tend to want more. And then there's also dependence on alcohol, drugs, and sex. And then we turn to, the occult, fortune telling, instead of, focusing on what's really important. And also, why do you think this is happening? Sometimes, like I said, it's becoming, because everybody's doing it, that tends to be a justification for someone to sin. Like in school, everybody smokes. Hey, I'll smoke too, it's okay. Or, everybody's, having sex also. It's okay. And if you don't do it, they even, make fun of you. People think that by engaging in those activities, they're going to be accepted and they're going to be cool. So clearly, today there is a lack of morality. But these reasons are just, explain only part of it, of why the world is slowly slipping, into sin. Because back then, Christianity was far different. You know how Christianity started, right? Where Jesus' disciples started spreading the word. Where did they spread it? Public, yeah. in Jerusalem, of course. And during the time, who was in power? No, the Romans. Yeah, they were, and they were preaching the word of Jesus in a time where you would be killed if you were caught preaching, right? So back then, Christianity was far different because people were willing to keep the faith and even die for their faith, trying to do good works. But it seems to me that, seems like today, people, easily forget, Christianity is just a casual thing. You're born into it, and then, if you're faced with something like, deciding whether to have sex or not, you can easily give in. Well, whereas back then, it was, the stakes were much higher. For you to follow God or not follow Jesus, could mean that you would be put to death. And yet Christians embrace that, and we're not afraid. So clearly, the brand of Christianity today is far weaker than back then. Maybe it was because it happened 2,000 years ago. It kind of wore off, and it's not like because people tend to forget because it was a long time ago. So let me ask you a question. Honestly, what if you were, living back then during 2,000 years ago, and you did see Jesus in the flesh, performing his works and proving all his miracles to you? Do you think you'd be believing in him and following his word, strictly? You would, right? Honestly, if he were here right now, and if he showed up again, and performed all his miracles, and people, would saw that he did exist, I think the world would change its ways, right? But of course, we don't know when that time's coming. But still, there's still a lot, there's still a strong movement to keep that fire burning within us, to keep our faith strong. So, obviously, we are, we have been weak. We are not as dedicated because sin blocks the power of God in our lives. And sometimes we tend to not take sin seriously. Like, because we're not doing serious sin like murder. Hey, I just lie, that's okay. At least I didn't, murder anybody, or I didn't steal, millions of dollars. I just stole my classmate's sandwich, that's fine. So we tend to justify those things because it's just small, it's okay. So, and also we feel that the Spirit's weak because in us sometimes, because we're just satisfied. We're just satisfied with where we are. Some people just tend to say, hey, I'm a good person. I don't do anything wrong to my neighbors. So I'm good. I'll just stay in my house, do my own thing, and that's okay. But as you know, faith without works is really nothing. Aside from believing in Jesus, you have to go out and do something about it, to share your experiences, to share spread the happiness around. And people, don't, tend to forget because they don't really have a personal relationship with Jesus. They feel that Jesus is, too far out of reach, and God is just, out there, not really here with us because they see all the terrible things that are happening to the world. I know of personal friends who say that God doesn't exist because if He was, why is the world like this? So it tends to really dampen the spirits of people especially if you don't even have the Spirit in the first place, or if it's not strong enough. But of course, to be able to have the power, the power of the Spirit in you, you have to be close to the source of power. As Jesus said, I am the vine, and you are the branches. And, if you remain in me, and I in you, then you would bear fruit. So you have to have a, direct link with Jesus. And also another reason is because we don't have a support group. We basically do things on our own, and none of our friends really have this. When we are together with a common purpose, then every member becomes stronger, right? So, we're not living the power of the Holy Spirit right now. And sometimes most of us even don't understand what it means. We heard about the Trinity, we know about it. And we're very familiar with God the Father and God the Son, but the Holy Spirit tends to be neglected sometimes. But Jesus affirms the Spirit's importance. He said, I will go away. It's necessary for him because when he was about to ascend to heaven, he had to explain to his disciples why he had to leave. He said, I have to leave, and it's necessary for me to leave because I'm sending He, which he means the Holy Spirit, to be here with you.